Welcome to the Become Sensible podcast, where we discuss practical accounting, finance, and tax for everyday business. I'm your host, Fiona, and I'm here to show you that no matter what your business financial situation is, you can change it. Good morning and welcome back to the podcast Become Sensible. Today's guest is Dr. Jennifer Gardella, the founders and CEO of the Gardella Group, a strategic digital marketing firm, help women-owned business grow with clarity instead of noise. She earned her PhD at 45 and built a national recognized consultants firm and bring a rare blend of structure, resilience, and strategic thinking to the world of marketing. So Jennifer, welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you so much, Fiona, for having me on. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time. So I know that you started a career in academy. So what made you step out of the world of academy and build your own company?
Yeah, so what wound up happening was at the end of my PhD program, I started to work for a friend from high school. We were actually dating. I don't recommend that part of the story at all. He was a divorce attorney in New Jersey, and he had lost his presence on Google. So it was 2011, 2012. He had a static website, and it was right around the time that blogging and social media suddenly became important for everybody. And he said, I can't handle this. Why is the phone not ringing anymore? Someone's got to fix it. And I said, I need a job. Like, I would love a job right now. Because I was just in school full time finishing my PhD. Well, the story finishes out that the relationship ends, and I realized that I had a very particular skill set that a lot of small business owners needed. He was $1 million firm. He was a divorce attorney. He could afford staff to handle his marketing. So many business owners back then and still today cannot. So I decided to hang a shingle and help a lot of people.
Okay, that is wonderful. Interesting in the way that you were dating and start your own thing, and you recognize this is the opportunity in the market over there. And you start actually, it's just wonderful. You decided that you don't want just study about strategy, and now you just want, you actually do it and bring the practical solution for the business world.
So what's also crazy about this story is that I had no idea that I was going into marketing. I had actually started my PhD in educational psychology and statistics, and I was going to be a professor.
Oh.
And so the marketing thing kind of came sideways. What's great about my story is that I have a pure research-based PhD. So I understand in educational psychology how people think and learn. And then on the statistics side, I know how to measure it. If you just get a marketing degree, you're learning a lot of theory that usually doesn't apply in a couple of weeks, right? Because everything is changing so quickly, especially in digital. So it really wasn't a switch from what I was, you were studying strategy. I never was. And in the beginning, there really was no digital marketing degree because digital marketing didn't even have a name yet.
Yeah. But I mean, it's wonderful that you study about psychology.
Right?
But how amazing that it is to apply in marketing and in business, isn't that?
Yeah, and it really, it helps because the brilliance of the work that I do, my unique brilliance, as I say, is I can get into the head of your ideal client and figure out what their problems are, and then how are they going to learn information from you? And that's the piece that a lot of people miss in their marketing strategy. They think it's all about them and their expertise.
And how you actually translate your skill into what people think in their mindsets, in their mind, is a totally different thing.
Right.
And that is your skill to do it. That is wonderful. Tell me, do you think there is a massive change that you need to take on at that time to transfer from academy to become a business owner at all?
So working as a professor, and I have been a professor still for years, is a completely different planet than being in the business world. even professors that teach things like marketing, if they're not actively working in the business world, I don't really know how they're teaching even out of a book, right? I mean, they're two totally different, well, I'll just say it again, planets, animals, monsters, whatever you want to call it. So there was nothing, and I love to say this line, there was nothing about PhD school that prepared me to run a business except for the way that my mind was trained. There's an academic, when you go through 7 hard years of school, the credits in the classroom, passing your qualifying exams, and then 2 years of working with your committee on your dissertation, you really know how to think through an idea. And you learn a lot about research. And I learned a lot about, this was a really interesting thing that came out of it. I learned that no matter what industry you're in, it's critical to use best practices. Right? You don't reinvent the wheel yourself in the world of accounting or the world of social media or business development or networking. Like, there are best practices, and there are some times when we just all need to follow them. It's great to chart your own course, but best practices are really important. Language is important.
I always say that is the principle. Everything has the principle, like the formulation of it. Of course, you can like add additional thing, but the formula is there.
Right.
And you need to get to the basic of the formulas before you can add anything on top of it.
Yeah, it's amazing how much work it takes and how little I knew going in. I mean, I knew nothing. I was like, this is great. I'm going to start a business.
The first year, make all the mistakes.
And still making them. It's great.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit, like, when you make that pivot, was clarity, or is it like discomfort, or you feel like you have all it takes for you to jump on like the business world?
I had no idea what I was doing. In fact, it's funny, I was very good friends with and still financially tied to my first husband at that time. We were divorced, but we were very, very good friends, and we were raising 3 children together. And I had just graduated with my PhD, and I, of course, had to call him to talk about, like, okay, here's the plan for me to start financially, kicking into the equation. He, even through our divorce, he had supported my PhD and our family, and we looked at ourselves still as a unit. And I remember when I called him with my business idea, and I was like, what do you think? And he's like, this sounds crazy. Now, he has since passed away, which was very sad, but he still said, go for it. And what was really funny is he then wound up with a job in marketing. And when he would really mess up a client's website, he would call me for help. So, you talk about clarity or discomfort. I didn't really even give it a thought. I was like, I have enough Jersey grit to get me through this. And I believed with all of my heart that I could help a lot of people. And I mean, I still believe that to this day.
I think it's wonderful to say that most of any business that we start to solve a problem for someone else.
Yes.
And I think like one of the things is many people always think so much about like planning and perfection. I think like the way that you just jumping, figure it out on the way, and you believe in yourself, you will figure it out down to the road. I think that is all what really it takes.
Yeah, I remember when I heard the phrase very early on, you're building the plane while flying it. And I was like, yes, it's exactly what I'm doing. Like, are other people this crazy and do this too? Like, this is nuts. So yeah, very true.
Do you think that there is a certain like common trail for the people who actually like love entrepreneurship?
Yes, I think we're nuts. I think that there has to be that. It's like, I went to Fordham University, which is in the Bronx, and I'll never forget when someone said to me, the reason why so many people at Fordham get along is because there's a common denominator in you're crazy enough to go to college in the Bronx. And I kind of feel the same way about entrepreneurship. There's a craziness to the fact that you think you want to do it. And when you look at the stats, the failure rate is staggering. It's a really good thing I didn't see those before I started.
But you think like if you see it, you would do it anyway?
I have no idea. I can't, but I was like, oh my gosh, the number of restaurants that fail. Now, I don't run a restaurant because I can't cook to save my life, but I'm saying, like, If you're in business a year or two after you start, you should have a party for yourself, let alone 5 to 10 years, and you're still, taking the hard punches. I mean, look at what we all went through last year with the economy, with the, clients leaving, clients coming. I said the entire business world is bipolar for 10 or 11 months. I think it's finally settled down a lot. And then a coach of mine just said a great line, which you will love. You know how when dogs are scared of thunder or scared of fireworks, they put big thunder jackets on them? My coach just said entrepreneurs need thunder jackets because the impacts that we have to withstand to so many aspects of our business. Now, I also say it's like trading stress. I have the stress of bringing on more clients and managing a business, but someone out there in the business world, it has the stress of never knowing if they're going to get laid off. So I don't really think that the stress is any different. I think when you're out in the business world, you can hide the stress a little bit more. You can find some security at least. But yeah, I wouldn't trade this life for the world. I mean, it has supported my family and I through some very, very hard times where I needed to be able to take off to drive my kids to college or go to parents' weekend, whatever. And I've barely missed a beat.
Yeah, the same. Like one of the main reasons that I started my own company is because I worked for the corporate CPA before, and the schedule very tight. And I have like 4 years old kids that need to be like at the school bus at this time and
Right.
work at this time. So soon I work for the corporate guy, then I just decided to start to figure out, especially as women, we have a lot of like requirement on our schedule. Like we run a second job somewhere with our family.
Right. And I mean, I didn't have another parent after, my kids were in late high school, college. So if someone needed to move into a dorm room on a Wednesday, it wasn't like one of us could take off. It was just me. Only in the last year and a half have I realized how grateful I am for my business. And I cherish it. I truly cherish it. There have been hard times. It's gotten a little crazy around here, but, I cherish the opportunity to build this for myself and my team.
Okay, so looking back, that is more like your courage, or is this your honesty to face the challenge that you have head on? Or is this both?
I think it's courage. You have to be able to admit when you don't know something and stay up all night trying to figure out what it is. You also have to have the courage to apply to the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program and network with people like you. And I'm so honest that I got rejected from Goldman Sachs the first time I applied, right? So,
Oh, really?
yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah, I'll talk about anything. So I had to have the courage to apply again, right? I mean, I wanted in. So then I was accepted the second time. It was great. And you have to have the courage to, like, I just joined a huge new networking group, and you have to have the courage to walk into rooms and book calls with people and say, hey, I need friends here. Like, will you be it's like kindergarten. Like, will you be my friend again? Right? A little bit. But also, I believe that the catch-all is housed in integrity. You need a steel center core of integrity that includes honesty, and you need to be authentic. My favorite line these days is when a business of any size, doesn't want anybody to know who's running the place. Right? Like, oh, we don't want our bios on the website, or we're not going to tell them who's doing the work. And I'm like, the heck kind of small business are you? Like, people want that human connection. And just yesterday, I said to someone, you've taken the humanity out of humans interacting with your business.
Yeah, which is so true.
I know.
I remember like the most recent client that we took on, and I asked him like, how do you find me? And he said like he could go in the area and he found my website, and he said like I feel more like human connection. So I decided I need to apply to work with you. I said, okay, that is the cool thing that client actually want the more of AI world thing. The more the people actually need more like human connections in that.
Yeah, and I get it. Like, I'm an extrovert introvert, right? Like, you may remember from me in the program, like, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I talk to everybody in New York. When we were all gathered in New York City, I was like,
Yeah.
how many people can I meet? This is awesome. And then I
Yeah.
have to go deep down, like, leave me alone, right? I need like my time out. I need that. But yeah, you have to be ready to meet with the people. Like, we're people out there.
Yeah. And the rejection is huge too. Like how many rejection that you we need to have to run a business in that way. So I love the fact that you mentioned about like the you need we as the business owner we need more clarity before we actually can be like visibility. So what do most owners get wrong when they rush to the markets themselves?
It's a fantastic question. And the honest truth is they think their business and their marketing is all about them. And the truth is, your business and your marketing is all about the transformation that you provide for your customer. So everybody always wants to talk. I deal with a lot of attorneys. And so attorneys will be like, oh, I've been doing this for 25 years and I went to Harvard. And I'm like, no one cares. Like maybe on a secondary level, people care, like, okay, I could be impressed with Harvard, whatever. But people forget about the transformation that they provide. And people are so busy. The world is so incredibly noisy. The internet now is so congested with information that business owners feel, again, that they need to remove themselves and sterilize their website. Big mistake. And that they need to talk about themselves a lot more. And I'll just share because, you and I do have history through the program together, the inauthenticity of what's going on. If I see one more selfie of a person on LinkedIn at a networking event, like, oh, let me take selfies with every single person I met and then post them on LinkedIn. And I'm like, and why is that show me that you're an expert in what you do? It just shows me that you're really good at taking selfies and maybe meeting people. Put them on face. Like I always say to people, if you really want to take your selfies and share them on Facebook with your friends. Right. Put them in there. Perfect. Yeah, I actually don't have an example prepared, but I'll try to come up with one. So let's, talk about an accountant, right? A misaligned message would be something to the effect of, how they have to help you get your taxes in order, but you have to come in with all of your taxes in order, right? There's no like wrapping your arms around your client, right? And there's usually a misaligned message comes from a cement wall of expertise on the business owner's part that the client doesn't then feel that they can really help them solve their problem. Your clients need to hear that your business didn't descend from the sky, right? You just didn't like inherit the business. So my business looks a little different than it did 10 years ago. Not a whole lot, but I've learned a lot along the way. And things have changed. And so to act like you're superior or know everything is misaligned messaging.
Yeah, it's just like you serve an institution has like 40 years of history and experience and visual, while you're a small business owner, maybe like it's not gonna be like everything in order at all, and you need to have the bridge to help them to cross and reach the goal that they want to reach.
Exactly. And like if you say on your website, again, I'll go back to the accountant, that, you're going to help me with all my finances. And then I walk in and you put me down for not having a 401k yet. Don't worry, I have one. It's like, well, wait a minute. You claim on your website that you're going to be nice to me. And then I walk in the door and you're shocked I don't have a 401k. Like, you're derogatory, you're saying all the wrong things. So that's very hard too. That's misaligned messaging for me. It's just inauthentic. And I need somebody, I always go back to the finances thing, but it's hard. People are struggling with all the things. And I always tell people, I don't know what I don't know until I even hear of it, let alone know what a question to ask. And so you need to be prepared to help people in that way.
Yeah. And if you can't, you just say it, you can't in your website or in your message.
Right. And be that authentic person.
Yeah. Okay. That's wonderful. And then you think like, when should a business owner should stop like DIY their marketing?
So at about $300,000 a year, as we learned in Goldman Sachs, A small
Yes.
business owner really needs to take a hard look at how in the weeds they are going, right? They shouldn't be doing everything in their business at that point. Marketing is often something that they can let go of. But and so you're doing your marketing yourself, but my Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses Growth Project is a program that helps you do your DIY yourself so that you're not out there just flapping in the wind, right? So that you have some direction. After 300, you have to think about how much support do you really want? Right? Do you want someone like me to do it for you every month? Do you want me to hold your hand and do it? You're going to need guidance because as your business grows, you're going to need to reach more and more people to scale. And about 300 also, you can start to bring in interns or lower level staff to start doing your marketing, which again, they need a lot of direction.
Mm-hmm. It is. It is. Oh, I mean, I'm not doing my own marketing and also I know. I said, hey, I'm accountant. I'm not a creative person.
Right.
I need someone that actually better than me in those areas. But of course, it still take the time that you need to communicate and you approve things and you agree things.
Yeah.
But I think like this, so many business owners they say, "Oh, why I need to spend that money for someone else to do it while I can't do it."
So here's the other thing that's going on that will sort of ask you your question. And because you're an accountant, you'll find this hilarious. Everybody wants an ROI of marketing, but there's actually very few other things of a business that we demand an ROI of. Someone decided a while ago that social media and blogging should have a direct ROI. And I have a PhD in stats, so I can talk all the numbers you want, but no one ever says, oh, what's the ROI of my office space? What's the ROI of the car that I have for my business? What's the ROI of this admin? There's an ROI attached. You just can't figure it out. But somehow someone decided that there should be an ROI of a blog. And I'm like, it doesn't. It's just like any other part of your business. It's part of running a business. We know it's critical. So what they tend to think is, oh, I can do this myself. And then they get very frustrated when there's no ROI. And then they turn it over to a marketing department and they're still not doing what they need to do. And so then they get mad at marketing. And it happens to me all the time. I'm like, well, you guys aren't making any sales calls. So I can bring you all the clicks you want. But at the end of the day, you need to be closing your deals.
When you give that example, it's very interesting. Like some of the client that hire like the whole bucket of accounting and in which is including the bookkeeping, and they normally say, "Hey, Fiona, I can do my QuickBook my own. Why I need to right here?" I said, "Why do you need to save a couple $100 per month or even $1,000 per month? Why don't you actually use that time to generate hundreds of thousands of dollars?" Why you need to do that? But that's just, the thing is people don't actually make a conversion in the convert this into the dollar side between it, I think.
Right. However, I would say that having a bookkeeper, an accountant is one of those things that could actually keep you out of jail.
Yeah.
So that I see a direct ROI on both of those, honestly. But also to that end, I mean, marketing can keep you out of hot water as well. How many people do we see out there using pictures they're not authorized to use or music that they're not authorized to use? And I tell people I have had clients that have been sued for $20,000. And so we make sure that we really protect your brand in that way as well.
Yeah. And I mean, like marketing actually like directly converts the revenue directly.
Right.
Build foundations and everything in the business. So I mean, like why they need to question it about that is I don't know.
Right. We all know it has to happen.
Okay. So tell me a little bit like sometimes business owners very confusing between like activity with traction. How do you teach the client what is the difference between that?
Yeah. So we have to face the fact that activity and traction, the engagement that you get on posts has fallen off the cliff, right? Where we used to see 50 to 100 likes on a post and that was our normal. Now, all of the sites want you to pay for it, right? Mark Zuckerberg decided that he didn't have enough money and now he's only going to show it if you run ads. Who can blame him? He built a great platform. So my point is getting 1,000 likes on an image means absolutely nothing. If your strategy for your digital marketing is geared towards your ideal clients and you are executing that strategy on a regular basis, and you're doing all the other business development kind of things that you need to be doing, then we know you're going to get traction. The problem is that we want the activity. We want to be the prom queen. We want 1,000 likes. It doesn't get us anything in our businesses, unfortunately. So and again, we want ROI. We want to know, oh, look, I posted this and got 2 clients. And it doesn't work that way. So you need a strategy to include all your marketing activities, all of your prospecting. So where are you networking? You need your digital strategy. And then you also need a really strong sales process. You need to be able to sell. And if you don't have those pieces together, then you're not going to get any results.
I love your answer on that. So when's your potential client come and say, oh, I just need more leads, what is the first thing that you tell to them?
So if all they want is more leads in their business, they need to be running ads. Ad work is the only way, whether it's Facebook ads or Google ads, ad work is the only way where you can truly measure, we put out this ad and this many people responded to it. However, even since you and I booked this podcast a month ago, the game has also completely changed, because now 25% of people, ready for this one, are going into ChatGPT and saying, give me 5 accountants in my area who can help me do my taxes. So ad work will not get you ranking in ChatGPT. What gets you ranking in ChatGPT is an authentic strategy. So if you just want leads, definitely go to ad work. Again, Google ads, Facebook ads. I have a lot of good people I can recommend. But honestly, you don't have that option anymore because of the ChatGPT boomerang we were just thrown. And I have tested this, and I'm speaking for Goldman Sachs in 2 weeks on this very topic, because someone found me by going into ChatGPT and saying, I need a digital marketing consultant who's an expert in this vertical. And because I had the right content out there all over the place, I popped up in the search.
That's interesting.
Very interesting.
Working is done because of blog posts, that is linking posts, that is podcast
interview with you. Right. It's everything. It's absolutely you need to be doing. I always say you need to be doing all the things.
Yeah. It's like on the strategy, like in everything.
Right.
And do you think that just make the cost for business owners to actually run a real marketing strategy is like skyrocket?
I was just talking to someone the other day. If you think about, your CRM system, your contract system, then you have your bookkeeping system. Most people use QuickBooks, so that's great. Now we have Canva because we have to do images. We have to do this, we have to do that. And someone said, I was at a networking group and someone said, and they were not an entrepreneur. They worked for a company. Yeah. And they said, I've never thought about that. And I said, how much burden can an entrepreneur actually bear in SaaS, in software that they purchase on a regular basis? Right. So there are systems now that are kind of accommodating it. But I'm sure that you've heard, you need to do funnels and you need to do lead magnets and you need to have a fancy web. And all of that, you're all told the average small business owners can probably drop $20,000 in a year without blinking.
Yes. Really.
And then you see it when you do their taxes. Like, oh my gosh, they have all of these systems. So, critical to continue to review your systems. And I actually found one that takes a majority of those systems and puts it in one place. So that makes it easier too. But, because the other thing is then you have to get all the systems talking to one another. And that's a whole system that you also have to pay for. I mean, it got completely out of control for people. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, you need what is that, a Zapier to actually zap from one place to the
so now
other
you have
place.
your Google Doc where you have to zap it into your CRM system to zap it to send a contract. And again, the amount of time that used to take for a small business owner to set up was a weekend. And that's what people also don't understand about entrepreneurship, is that you're doing it yourself. And so now, like I said, there are great systems nowadays where you don't need to do it all yourself like that. But they're also expensive. They're going to cost you $400 or $500 a month, like I pay.
End of the day.
End of the day, you're still paying.
Yeah, and then the amount of time that you actually like create the content, hop on the podcast, go on YouTube, go on social short form content on LinkedIn. The amount of time that you need to create the content and to be out there, I mean, it's take you like as if like how much time? 20 hours, 30 hours per week.
Well, I always say, and I created your social media hour, if you're really strategic and you create a really good strategy that you're always updating, social media should take a small business owner about an hour a day. That includes your blog, videos, your reels, your whatever. Now, in an hour a day, will you be able to do every last thing you should be doing? No. But we're not saying that you have to do everything, right? It depends on your business. So what I'm seeing now is a lot of people are like, oh, I want to do Instagram reels. And I'm like, why? Your clients aren't on Instagram. Or I'm going to start dancing on TikTok. I'm like, wow, that's, first of all, no. And second of all, like, are your ideal clients on there?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's getting really critical to say, okay, what you may want to do out there on the internet is not what your clients need to see. And it's not where you're going to find your ideal clients either.
Which is very hard, like to actually like all the things that we need to do, but it doesn't work and it doesn't create the result at all.
Well, it also depends on what you consider a result, right? So I have a great story for that. You know, we think about things like networking. Like, I joined this networking group. How much business did I get? They want a direct ROI. Well, 12 years ago in a networking group, it was a networking group that did like a blind date experience for business owners. You went out for coffee with people that you had never met before. I met a woman and she was starting a marketing company. Over the years, we kept in touch with each other. I would see her out at events. She would see my stuff on social, and she's now one of my biggest clients. Now, can you put an ROI on that networking group, on social media, on my blogs, on seeing her? No, you can't. What we know is you need to do all the things, but you need to do them strategically. And I can't stress that enough.
That's wonderful, and I love that you everything you say have a statistics number go with it. That's right. It's so easy to understand, like logical. Like this is how much the percent of the time that you need to do. Percent of the people that have the problem on this thing. That makes it like so easy to under at least for the logical person. Like
Right. Yeah. So don't go dancing on TikTok, Fiona. Like, I don't want to see my accountant dancing on TikTok.
I don't know how to dance.
Unless you're a phenomenal dancer, right? But I want to know that you have a blog post about, you know, tax deductions that I might be missing. What's the easiest way to? So that's what's really important out there.
Okay, so to you, is this more important to be visible or is this more important to be credible?
Credibility. 100% of the time. I'm always going to take integrity and credibility over just being out there. Because if you're visible, that doesn't necessarily mean you're credible. If you're credible, you can get some visibility on the side, right? So you want to build know, like, and trust. Those are your three big factors. We've all heard those enough. How do you build know, like, and trust? But yeah, you want to be a credible person. You want to have a center core of integrity so that when you do start serving clients, things are going to go well.
Okay, that's wonderful. How do you help the people that say that, okay, I want to offer a service and become like, I want to lead at a category or like a specific niche of something that they really expert in? Like the divorce lawyer say, oh, I am a divorce lawyer, which is his offer the service. And now he wants to basically say, okay, I'm an expert in this thing of divorce. How you move them from there to there?
Good question. So the first thing that I would recommend that they do is set up a YouTube channel. So if you're starting from scratch and you got nothing, set up a YouTube channel. From there, there's a lot of tricks that I can teach people on how to turn YouTube videos into an outline for a blog post. And then from there, you create very simple social media posts. And the entire time you talk about the transformation that you get for your clients. And in the, honestly, divorce attorneys and accountants have the same problem, and dentists. People do not like visiting you people, right? I mean, it's not pleasant usually because money is involved, life, children, all of the things are involved. So the more that you can show that you really are an expert in handling out like wacky problems, also critical. So provide information on the big transformation. That's what we want to know. What's your big transformation?
And you think like YouTube, we actually that is where it is. You don't think that it's like short form content. You don't think that it's just podcast talk only. Is this because the platform performance is better? Or
So what we need to remember is, so YouTube is the second biggest search engine, and it's owned by Google.
yeah,
So when someone goes into Google looking, and it's also indexed by ChatGPT. So when someone goes looking into Google, and let's say they're getting divorced in Chicago, their geolocator is important, where they're searching, and Google is automatically going to show them divorce attorneys in the Chicago area. Now they're going in asking a specific question. So that's where YouTube kind of wins the day sometimes. Now, again, you're talking at you. The question you asked me was, where should someone start? You then can add the other 100 million things. Also, people, viewers, your ideal clients love video. And as someone who never loved video, I actually do love video now. So I want to hear people talking, and video is the one place where we can really build know, like, and trust very, very quickly. And then, you can post videos on social media, and you can also take videos and embed them into your website. So it becomes like this whole big animal. But if you have limited time, start talking to YouTube.
and Jennifer, I have this question. So I observe some of like real estate agents or some of like big successful social media people, and they started actually from YouTube. And one of the things that they did is they have a vlog, what they do in a day. And can you explain to me, like in your field, why the vlog is still actually perform really well for them?
I think people are inherently nosy. They want to see your day. But
Okay.
no one's going to want to see Fiona's or Jen's day. Really. And I can tell you, no one wants to see my day.
Yes.
Who wants
yes.
to see me dressed as in my unmatching outfits, walking my dog at 7:00 in the morning, or journaling, right? So if you already have a big presence, that can be helpful, I guess. But showing someone what you do in your day, I would not hire you for that.
Yeah. Well, this is a very strange, like like what his name, Ryan Serhan, was this a very reputation like they brokers. And like 7, 8 years ago, of course he has the show on TV. But one of the things, the first thing that he did on YouTube, he has 30-day vlog that he woke up like 4:30 and went to the gym or whatever
Sure.
it is. And it's performed well. I could never understand the logic behind it at all.
Well, also think about, where are they living? If you're living 2 blocks from the Eiffel Tower and, you're being fabulous all day, sure, that can get some content. It's not going to make me hire you. And there's no correlation that I've ever seen between dollars in and views on YouTube. The correlation that I've always seen is, that's really good content that I connect in with.
You also mentioned that is the most important thing is we tell how much that transformation in the work that we do for the client. That is like the selling point of the video.
Critical. You need to be able to jump in and identify with your ideal client right away and talk to their pain point far before you announce your name of your company, or how long you've been in business. So Google indexes the first 30 seconds of a video and the title of that video. Get it all out then. And also I always say people have the attention span of a gnat, right? So they don't want to listen to where you went to school or whatever. What about your video is going to be informational to them? And I will take a step back and say this, because about the vlog, that was a really interesting question. Part of social media, which I do consider YouTube now to be social media, it can be a social experience. Part of that is not just to inform, but also to entertain. So if you do have that entertaining life, great. Maybe they're getting some traction that way.
Yeah, maybe this is like personalities, connections,
Yeah. But just because someone lives 2 blocks from the Eiffel Tower doesn't mean that they're the right business coach.
Yes, which is true.
Or accountant or whatever, right?
Yeah. Okay, so you work with like so many high achieving women. What is the mindset pattern that you see the most holding them back in their success, in their business success?
Fear.
Fear.
So it's either fear of being known or a fear of putting themselves out there. And the other one that not a lot of people talk about is the fear of actually being successful. Because then the question is, who am I going to actually need to be if I am successful? Like if I get my act together, who am I going to need to be in that process? And that can be really overpowering to a lot of people and hold them back. And nowadays, people are scared to post because they're scared that no one is going to see their posts and they're not going to have any engagement. And to that, I always say, who cares? Like, one, you've got to start somewhere, number one. And number two, Mozart, Beethoven, any of the famous artists of our time that we have ever heard of, they maybe had 10 good pieces of work that we know. They probably had 800 million pieces of work behind them that we've never found out about. So this idea of people being scared that they're not going to go viral and that's embarrassing is holding them back from actually just posting. So I find that there's fear on several levels. And the reason why I can speak to this so clearly is because that was me. I was scared of being criticized out there. Even up until last year, I was like, what if no one likes and now I'm just like, who cares? Because it turns out I'm right.
The same to me. Like the first time that I put myself out there, I say people like probably say, this is not good or whatever happened with your voice, your accents, the content that you say and how certainly let you look. That is just like feel like so much like pressure.
Right.
And then the same way, like when I started write a newsletter, oh my God, I feel like so embarrassing.
Yes, this is exactly what I'm talking about. You're embarrassed.
Okay, so tell me this, how there's so many people like experts really good in the work that they do, how they can stop being like the best that keep secrets, how they can put themselves out there so that people know that they exist, they do everything really well.
You got to start. Right? It sounds so silly, but it's like, oh, no one knows about my business. And I'm like, well, what are you doing so people know about your business? That's novel. So are you going to start with, LinkedIn posts? Just commit to one LinkedIn post a month or a week. Really, a month won't do much. A week will get you a little bit of traction. But the other thing you could do is write a LinkedIn newsletter. We're having a lot of success right now for clients with engagement and LinkedIn newsletters. So, but at the end of the day, you need to create a strategy based on your expertise and then execute that strategy in very, very small steps. End of story. That's what it takes. Yeah, it's like not rocket science, right? This is like, and everyone's like, oh, that makes sense. No, and I'll never forget when I first started in digital 12, 13 years ago. And my coach said to me, I want you to Google yourself. So I Googled Jennifer Gardella and I was nowhere. And I was like, oh, but I'm awesome. And he was like, yeah, but you don't have any content about yourself on the internet. And I was like, doesn't the internet know about me? He's like, no, you have to tell the internet about you. And I've dealt with a lot of professors that, publish in all the really big famous journals. Doesn't do them a hell of good because no one reads them. No one reads them. You need to be out there telling people how great you are.
Yeah, which is hard. Sometimes you feel like, what is this weird to say about myself all the time?
Right. But again, it's not, I'm so great and I went to Harvard. This is how I just helped my last client.
Okay, that's wonderful. Okay, tell me this. So you build a company that respect and serve a lot of women business owners. So has your definition of the leadership evolved over the year?
Not much. I mean, I've learned a lot of lessons. I'm definitely not a perfect leader in my organization. Someone actually called me recently on, the concept of ghosting your employees, like, oh, I don't want to deal with that today. And I'm like, wow, and then I thought to myself, wow, I can't say that. Like, that's not really fair to people to just say, I don't feel like dealing with that anymore. So I think a really good leader just cares about people. And if you care about your people and you put your ego aside, which is very, very hard for some people, right? I have a strong need to be right about my craft, but that doesn't mean that I have to jam it down someone's throat publicly. So I think leadership is, hey, new person on the team. Hey, employee that I'm not getting along with. Hey, employee who's not integrating well into our organization. What do you need from us so that this starts to work out better? And don't do that in a slamming of the group. You take it very personal. I have a couple clients right now where there's a lot of players involved and a lot big companies. And one thing that I've done is gone above and beyond to make sure that I've opened up avenues of connection with everybody. So whether it's in, a software program or emails, God forbid, or whether it's in their task management system, and just say, hey, you can ask me any question, but I reserve the right to do that as well. So that there's not this public bashing that goes on and no one sees when there's pull and push. It's handled behind the scenes. And to make people feel like they're included, right? Because that's what people want. And so that's what I think leadership has really turned into. It's not who's giving the most speeches or making the most money. It's all about, or who's, in the fancy program. It's really all about how do you communicate one-on-one really well with people.
Okay, that's wonderful. So do you think like women in business actually bring some certain point, certain contribution into strategy and communications?
I don't think women are uniquely positioned in any way or possess some different skill set. I think that honestly, we all have to step up at the table more with our expertise. And this is going to go a little woohoo on you. But, one thing that I've really studied a lot is this idea of women who, like when I was born, even though I was 3 years away, I didn't have the right to get a credit card. That influenced the way that I was viewed at that point in my life, right? And when my grandmother was born, women didn't even have the right to vote. So we are uniquely positioned to say to the world, we've earned our spot here, and to say we're now not backing down. So that's what I think women bring to the table is this, we had to fight a little harder for it. And so we wanted to look a little different. Now, between you and me, some women are not doing a good job of this, right? Some women still live in the prom queen world. Oh, I'm going to make her feel excluded from the lunch table. It's the mean girl syndrome. I believe that the mean girl syndrome can take you just so far. At some point, you are going to realize that you're a miserable person on the inside and that you need to make yourself feel better by putting other people down, which is a shame. And so if we can start as women to really talk about these things, but we haven't gotten there yet. So that's something that I've been really studying and talking to people a lot and writing about a lot for myself.
Which is true. I think that the people that who feel secure about themselves, they want to uplift other people, surround with great people, and support the community. But the people that feel not secure, they want to put people down to feel like they're important.
Yeah, no, I don't care where you are. Like if you're at a networking group, if you're at a big family party and there's someone in the corner that doesn't have someone to talk to and you're not extending an arm to go talk to them, what are you accomplishing there? Like someone is alone in the world. And so even again, when we were met in New York City in person for 10,000 small businesses, there's a lot of people that were having problems integrating into the group. And I would go over and talk to them like one-on-one. Made some good friends.
Yeah. Yeah. What you study about psychology is actually helpful in that way too.
Yeah, and just being nice. And I'm like, oh, if I didn't have a friend to talk to here, I'd want someone to come talk to me.
Yeah. Okay. So what would you tell to the people that they know that they has been like doing really good, but they know inside they mean to doing great. So what would they do in that situation?
Call me and I'll give you the name of the coach I'm working with. I'm working with a phenomenal coach right now on calming down my nervous system and really looking at what is stopping your divine purpose from coming out. So that's number one. And then the other thing is a quote by Marianne Williamson. She's super woohoo, by the way. She has this beautiful quote, though, that says, you have to slow down to go deep to go fast. And nothing has made me stop and say, oh my gosh, the frenetic energy that I was experiencing in my business where I thought I had to be busy and doing all the things has probably been stopping me from scaling. So I've slowed down to go deep into relationships now to then scale up.
Mm. Which is I think wonderful thing. My own company, the last couple months, we also went through that process that we don't want to be busier. We want to actually like take the client that align with the work that we do and we can
Right.
really help them and transform them instead of like, okay, busy all the time and it's look like nothing have a really deep connection.
And it takes guts, right? Because you're turning down work in some cases. And I just learned the beauty of parting ways with clients when it's not going well. But that's hard because it impacts your bottom line in the short term. But as my coach would tell you, wow, I can't wait to see what this is going to do for your business.
Mm. Which is, I think it will wonderful.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. So what do you think about the next decade for your company?
Oh, the Gardella Group is positioned to become the go-to resource for blogging, social media, and newsletter writing for small business owners. And because of the Goldman Sachs program, I really was able to expand my offer deck so that no matter what you have to spend, we can help you. And so I look to really strengthen that and say, yeah, we're building towards, I sometimes say a hostile takeover. That's not very peaceful, but to do a hostile takeover, to say people need the help and they need a lot of support in that process. So I want to be the one to step up into that space.
This is wonderful. And tell me, like, what is the principle that you live by?
So the principle that I live by, it's also what I call my hell yes statement. And this was created with my very dear friend and colleague, Brooke Foley, who runs the Jane Agency out in Chicago. My passion, integrity, and expertise are disruptors in the digital marketing space. And I live that every single day.
Okay, that's wonderful. Your agency. Okay, that's wonderful. And tell me this, what does strategic growth mean to you right now?
Well, you hit the nail on the head like 2 minutes ago, Fiona.
I got it. Go there.
Growing with the right clients.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not the right consultant for every client. Not every client is the right client for me. So it's really about growing with the right people.
Yeah, which is what my company went through the process too, that we actually root for certain industry, certain client more than the other. It doesn't mean like someone else is not good, but it is not aligned in the business model and the service and the purpose.
Right. I want to strategically grow with clients. And I guess I would add to that who are also strategically growing. Right. They're doing all the things like I'm doing. They're doing podcast interviews. They're doing networking groups. They're doing client work. They're doing they're doing.
What is your last words advice for a business owners who are in the changes to do all the things like you are doing?
I would have to say again, slow your roll and figure out not what is working, but what's your strategy? Who's your ideal client and what's your strategy to reach them? And from there, take a very unique perspective on your craft and always live with a lot of authenticity. We, as your ideal clients, if I am an ideal client, we want to know you. We want to know you. We don't want to know the AI version of you. We don't want to know some sanitized version of you. We want to know you.
And that is show up in content, in conversation, and everything. Okay, thank you so much for your time and your insight, not just about marketing, about your philosophy in the human relationship and about building the business that have aligned and intentional. So if anyone is listening right now and building something for real, this is conversation for you. And we will share the website and the contact information of Jennifer in the show notes. So
Great.
if you really like what Jennifer is offering and her message, you can reach out to her. And thank you so much for your time today, Jennifer. And I'm looking forward to connect you into the future.
Awesome.
Yeah, I thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. And we'll talk to you all soon in the next episode. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.